Welcome back to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison. We are officially 53 days away from Arizona tipping off. I almost said kicking off, but tipping off. It's college basketball season. The 2025-2026 season is a couple months away. And as you know, here in Tucson, Arizona, college basketball reigns supreme. It is the premier program out here in the desert. Now, before we get into basketball, football this week is taking on Kansas State Friday night under the lights. Fox nationally televised game, 6 p.m. retro night. U of A announced throwback uniforms, the red block A, the classic block A from the 80s, and another 80s team. Everybody knows that symbol, the cactus logo. So, Arizona takes on Kansas State, looking to go 3-0 to start their year. Brett Brennan, year 2, good start so far. Noah Fafita looks sharp his last time out, throwing for 373 yards, 5 touchdown passes on 22 passes, going 17 of 22. Very efficient game. Kansas State's a little banged up. Dylan Edwards is 50-50 for the game. Their wide receiver, their star wideout, out for the season. Couple injuries on the offensive line, and KSU is reeling, losing to Iowa State to open the year in Dublin. That's not a bad loss. Iowa State's a good football team, meaning the last-second touchdown pass to beat North Dakota. Not North Dakota State, but North Dakota. 38-35. A last-second touchdown pass against the Flying Hawks. That's pathetic. And then losing to Army at home 24-21. It's been tough sledding for KSU. They go into the desert limping, and you're having a Wildcat battle, Wildcat brawl out here in Tucson Friday night. But I wanted to talk about college basketball. Like I said, college basketball reigns supreme in Tucson. It has for the last 40-plus years. And in the Big 12 Conference, college basketball is it. When you talk about the premier college basketball programs, the premier college basketball conferences in the country, you have to start with the Big 12. You have Kansas, Houston, Arizona, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Baylor's won a national championship, and other programs that I probably haven't listed. Kansas State's been very good in the past before, too. Cincinnati's been good, too. It is a premier basketball conference. BYU's in that mix as well. And it gives not remnants, but very old school Big East vibes in terms of the physicality, the toughness of play. And with that comes national spotlight. We saw Arizona last season play one of the toughest non-conference schedules in college basketball. They finished below 500. At one point, they were, below 500 at one point in the non-conference. They went on a run. And then all of a sudden they got into the conference play and Arizona started rolling. Started stacking up big-time wins. West Virginia, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas later in the year. Those are some big-time victories. Arizona finished 3rd in the Big 12 Conference in their first year. Got to the Big 12 championship game, lost to Houston. Second time losing to Houston. Houston got to the national championship game. Probably should have won the national championship. They were the best team in the country. And that's who Arizona lost to. It was a great year for Arizona in their first year of the Big 12. I know fans were a little worried and underwhelmed with the performance at times. But guess what? It translated to the court come March. Arizona was more physical. They were tougher. And they were mentally more ready. They were mentally ready. They go into the NCAA tournament. They get to the Sweet 16, some great games along the way, crushed Oregon, and some great games along the way. Unfortunately, you ran into a chainsaw that night against Duke. Caleb Love had his best game as a Wildcat, 35-plus points, shot a high percentage, kept his team in the game. Arizona trailed by nearly 20 points in that game, battled their way back. Toughness, defense, and that nastiness that is required for the NCAA tournament. They were able to do that, but unfortunately they lost in one of the best games of the year 193 because look at Cooper Flagg. He went Larry Bird on them. He was very Larry-esque like. He dropped a lot of points, shot a high percentage, played great defense, and when the defense got on him, he kicked it to the open man. And Knipple made them pay. He was hitting from the three-point line. It was a great game. Duke would eventually lose to Houston, but one of the better games in college basketball last season was Duke, Arizona. Arizona almost had it, got it within 2 points, 3 points, couldn't get over that hump, and eventually lost that game. Why am I talking about that? Because the Big 12 is on the national spotlight. The Big 12 is the premier conference. Sorry, SEC. Sorry, ACC. It's not you guys. It's the Big 12. And the nation recognizes that. And why do I say that? Is because they're having another Big Monday for college basketball. Big Monday has become a tradition in college hoops where you have big-time Monday and Tuesday night games. I know it's Big Monday. We're focusing on Monday. Early in the week with prime time matchups. Monday Night Football, it's Monday Night Hoops. And it features the Big 12 and the ACC, the two premier conferences in college basketball. The two historic conferences in college basketball with all the realignment that's happened, because the Pac-10/Pac-12 was a historic conference. And the Big East, come on. But with all the realignment, those are the two best conferences. So you have conference matchups that are going to be played on Monday night, meaning they're going to play the big-time programs. They're going to play the major programs, those games. And who kicks it off? None other than Arizona on the road at BYU. That is going to be one of the better games of the season. You have one of the top prospects in the country playing at BYU. You have the second-ranked recruiting class in the country coming to Arizona. And you have two very good programs that put on phenomenal performance in Tucson. Kicking things off on Big Monday, January 26th. That's going to be very exciting. Arizona gets 3 Big Monday games. First one is that BYU game on the road. Second one is going to be that Kansas game, February 9th in Lawrence, Kansas. The two best programs in the Big 12. No conversation about it. It's two best programs historically. And let's see Arizona, Kansas under the lights on Monday night. Come on. Finally, you get Arizona, Iowa State at home in Tucson, March 2nd. The last time Arizona played Iowa State at home, we all know what happened. Arizona played a great game for most of that game, led for most of that game, found themselves trailing, and it looked like they were dead in the water. All of a sudden, Caleb Love, you live by love, die by love. That's been the theme of Arizona the last couple of years. Hits a half-court shot to send the game into overtime where Arizona would dominate in extra minutes. Just a phenomenal game. McHale went nuts. It's one of the best shots I've seen at McHale. One of the most clutch performances I've seen. And that's what those games are all about. That's what Big 12 basketball is all about. Big-time performances, big-time night. That's why you have Big Monday, and Arizona gets 3 of them. Now, the other school that gets 3 of them, no surprise, Kansas. Kansas gets 3 Big Mondays. Houston gets 2. I believe Iowa State gets 2, and Texas Tech gets 1. And there's other matchups as well, but makes sense. If I'm the commissioner, and if I'm ESPN putting this together, I want Arizona, Kansas. That's one of them. And I want Arizona on a lot, and I want Kansas on a lot. You know why? They sell viewership. People want to see Arizona. They want to see Kansas. Out here in the West Coast, ASU basketball is not making you that. That's why ASU's not on that. They're a horrible basketball program. And they've gotten worse over the last several years underneath Bobby Hurley. So you're not going to have ASU. You're not going to have Colorado. You're not going to have Utah. BYU, again, they're on it. But the premier program out west for the Big 12, it's Arizona. And the second best program in the Big 12 historically, it's Arizona. So that's why Arizona gets 3 big Mondays. That's why Kansas gets 3 big Mondays. And we are, again, 53 days away. I cannot wait for this college basketball season. It's going to be one for the record books, getting to see Koa Pete on the court, Braden Burry's on the court, Jaden Bradley in another year in Tucson, his 3rd year with the team. I think he's going to be phenomenal, and Toby Awaka as well. And we'll see how Mo Krivas does from his injury. But it's going to be exciting. Gear up and get ready for Big 12 Mondays.